Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Carter's blog. And this week we unfortunately only got two of his workouts on camera. I went ahead and put pretty much all the footage we got from them in here for you guys to observe. You guys can also look at the spreadsheet. And for anyone kind of curious, because I'm always going to have people who say, oh, there's no reason a person can't film, they don't have any excuse. Well, it has to do with the fact that some days during his shift he trains at work, and they're not allowed to film at work. It's real simple, all right? Very, very simple. He has access to a pretty substantial gym at work, so we still run conjugate. He'll take bands with him and stuff like that. But I was looking through the stuff for this week. I believe we got... He may have done a floor press because he didn't have chains, I believe, at work. Let me scroll through the stuff real quick while I'm doing this. So for the max effort upper, yeah, he did floor press. And he got 295 on it. Right, he got 295 on the floor press. We don't have footage of it. But given that we've seen him bench 300 plus, totally believable. All right, for the lower, we went ahead and went over to just one exercise because of his history of a hip and back inflammation, which is quite a bit better. It's doing well. So we went with just a normal straight bar box squat this week, and he got 275, and then he got 300. Right, we got 300, and again, covering all of that, some people will say, well, you know, if he's squatting that much, why is he listed as an advanced lifter? Because his upper body is very advanced. The guy benches over 300 pounds. He can do like 15, 16 pull-ups. You know, at a decent body weight, he's not walking around 160 pounds. You know, so he is an advanced lifter. He's run into a lot of inflammation and injuries in the low body that we are, of course, working around. We're working around it. But if we look through at his exercise selection, you know, like most of my other conjugate people, it's mostly pump work, right? It's mostly pump work. You know, so in this case, he ended up doing a floor press and a box squat for max work. On those days, he ended up doing floor press for reps on the max effort day. Then he did lat pull downs. He did front raises, and then, well, in this case, we switched it over. Because there were some possible issues with that, and I'm not wanting him to do certain movements, we switched those to seated dumbbell presses. And then, of course, he does tricep band press downs. On the max effort day, we do belt squats. He does glute ham raises. He does reverse hypers. Right. So you go over and look at the dynamic effort day. He did his speed work with chains this week, running 3 grips. Actually, that's where we worked in the seated dumbbell presses. He's supposed to still be doing the front raises on the other days. And then, of course, he does more tricep band work. But he did note even the overhead presses were uncomfortable. Now, some people would want to know, hey, what's going on with rotating all the other pressing out, right? Taking away the dumbbell pressing, putting the floor press in. It has to do with the fact that he's getting a lot of tightness. He's getting some inflammation in one of his pecs. And so when things like that happen in a more stretched position, we like to just shorten the range of motion a hair. I like to use all floor presses in those situations. You know, a lot of my lifters, we like to do situations to where they do some stretch work on the pectorals. You guys know I'm real big on specialty bars. I like the cambered bars, the buffalo bars. We like to use dumbbells. But for many people, this can also cause too much stretching. It can cause a little stress on the shoulder joint. It can be problematic on the pecs as far as stretching too much and overuse. So in that case, we can rotate those things out. We rotate those things out and we can go over to the floor press. And the floor press does tend to have 100% carryover to your bench, right? Particularly thicker guys, like really thin guys, if the bar is, you know, 6 inches above your chest, 7 inches above your chest, you might not get the same carryover. But for guys who are a little thicker, they can get the bar within 3 inches of their chest, you're going to have full carryover. Right? You're going to full carryover. And it has to do with the fact that we learn to get explosive out of the bottom without a stretch reflex, without a stretch on the pecs. Right? It builds dead stop training from down further, and understanding when it comes to carryover. Remember, we have joint angle specificity carryover there. And what does that mean? That means that if you train a muscle, you train a movement pattern through a number of degrees of the joint that's not full range of motion, that whatever you're training carries over 15 degrees. So as long as the joint angle is within 15 degrees of the farthest range of motion we would want later, then you will have 100% chance of the strength carryover. Right? You'll have 100% strength carryover. So, again, if we're only doing 90% then of a range of motion, it will carry over to the full range of motion generally in terms of the strength carryover. In terms of the joint angles, not necessarily the inches moved. Right? It'll have 100% carryover. Of course, he's messing with his new belt squat. I guess he got the Rhino. He's got a Rhino belt squat now, so he's wanting to make good use of it. I guess he's going to clear out that other piece of equipment. And I do like these Rogue Rhinos and stuff. I think they're a nice setup, nice addition. Stuff that I'd consider eventually going to all monster stuff for my own Rogue stuff down the road. Looking at budget and space later. These aren't bad. These aren't bad. Again, if you're looking at floor footprint, I do like these to be able to bolt onto, say, a Rogue Monster rack. Same thing with some of their other hybrid units. Rogue has probably the best hybrid as far as a glute ham raise and reverse hyper. But, they want $2,000 for it, plus whatever shipping. So it's expensive. But again, if we're looking at rugged hardware versus the space floor print, it makes a lot of sense. It's really good. The same with that Rhino that he got there. But this week, he wanted to use a lot of his band stuff, so we did a lot of bands for the pulling. Obviously, we make heavy use of these glute ham raises. All right, we do a lot of glute ham raises for him. We do a lot of reverse hypers for him. He has both at home. He has access to both, so we tend to finish up lower body workouts with both. Again, a trend you guys are noticing with a lot of my vloggers, the people who have access to both of these machines, we use them. That's how strongly I feel about the benefits of them. I feel so strongly about the benefits for overall strength. I think they're two of the best movements. And I make heavy use of them personally, and any of my clients who have access to them, we're going to tend to make heavy use of them. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.